in front of you again with the future trend and very interesting data points that I'm going to discuss about in today's webinar. And I must also think, because some of you people also gave an idea, and I keep saying, if you want us to cover some data points which you believe is of an area of interest, please do let us know, and we'll be more than happy to cover those trends in our webinar. But before I begin my presentation, just a small disclaimer that this webinar is only to enhance your understanding about the equity market. Please consult your financial advisor before buying or selling any stock. Past performance is no indicator of future returns, and investment in securities market are subject to market risk. With this, so what I'm going to cover, there are a couple of points which is bothering market participants. कौन आएगा election में? We are not very far. There are 3 more phases of election to go. One is on Monday, which is also in Bombay. That's the reason Bombay. Also मेरे statement थोड़ा confusion लग रहा है सर इस बार. पता नहीं चल रहा है कौन कैसे होगा. People are not opening up that which party they want to basically vote for. So, there are 2 school of thoughts. One school of thoughts believe that BJP will do better than what they did last time, that is in 2019. Another school of thought believe that BJP may not be able to get that kind of this one. So I said, let's try to put some data on what kind of result. Does it result to a higher number of seats? So you may get more number of votes, but does it translate into more number of seats? That's one. Second worry is that election will go, नया government आएगा. Do we see capital gain tax changes? So what we did, basically, we look at the capital gain taxes across the world to understand where do we stand. And when we look at the data, we come across very interesting data points. So I thought, let me share that data point with you. That's there. If you remember, Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman few days back made a statement that number of investors are increasing in the country. So investors आते कहाँ से हैं? Where are they coming from? Are they coming from east, west, south, north? कहाँ से आ रहे हैं वो? So that's what I'm going to discuss about this. Another thing that we have to discuss is that market में volume कौन करता है? Is it institutional investors? Is it corporates? Is it prop book? Is it retail investors like you and me? कौन करता है? और कौन बेच रहा है, कौन ले रहा है? So we did analysis on last 2 years to present some data on that. The dominance of the sector on the Nifty 50 and how it has changed over the years in last 2 decades from 2004 to 2024 कैसे हुआ है? So that's what I'm going to discuss about it. And then last, Indian market, how it performed in 2024 versus leading indices in the world. So it's a very 6-point agenda, very powerful data points which will make you think. Our webinar is not is not for the entertainment. It's with the rock solid data, that information that you can take home and then basically use that information to make you as a better investor in the market. So let me start with the one that everyone is bothered about. क्या होगा 4th June को? कौन बनेगा प्रधानमंत्री? I think this is one, and with what is happening with Swati Maliwal case, I think things have become a little more different than what it used to be. I have been informed that Priyanka Gandhi made a statement that we are with Swati Maliwal. While on one hand they have an alliance partner with Kejriwal, here that's just 2 days before, Mamata Banerjee made a statement that if India alliance comes, we will give what we call support from the outside. They will not be forming a part of this. These are not the right signal that's going out for the India alliance somewhere. So we said, let's look at what does the higher, what said, does it result to a higher number of seats or not? And what we realize is that the normal logic says कि वो होना चाहिए था, but जरूरी नहीं है कि वो होता है. I'll let me give you another give you some example here. So and I'm always a data-driven guy. So let's look at 1996. 28.8 votes Congress got it. BJP got how much? 20.3. So they basically got 800 bips less than what Congress got. But the number of seats Congress won was 140 versus BJP 160. That means BJP, despite having low number of votes, got more number of seats. Same way in 1999. 28.3 and 23.8. So BJP got less number of votes there. But the number of seats is 182 versus 114. Now, a couple of things are happening. If you look at it, the BJP, which was only 7% in 1984, and that was purely because of the assassination of Indira Gandhi, and there was a sympathy wave which went in favor of Congress. They got 46.9, and that is the highest vote share that ever got, which resulted into a 414 seats. That's a record that they've got it. So what the data clearly suggests is that on one hand, the BJP has basically doubled the vote share in last 3 elections. What happened with the Congress? They basically reduced the vote share by almost 900 bips. But that 900 bips basically resulted into a 25% only number of seats, 75% decline in the number of seats. So while 50% decline in the vote share resulted into 75% loss in the number of seats won by the Congress. What surprised me, and which also I must tell you, Congress has been struggling to get more than 200 seats. If you look at here, since 1996, not a single year, except 1 year, that is 2009, 206 seats, but otherwise, it's been struggling to even get 200 seats. A national party, Congress, which has been ruled, you need 272 seats to form the government on your own. Of course, you can always form a government with the alliance partner. Unfortunately, except 1984, which is a victory for the Rajiv Gandhi, not a single year they got 272 seats, which is a little surprising to me. And they, of late, they've been struggling to get 200 seats. So I think that's where the challenge comes in. So couple of points I want to convey here. Vote share does not mean number of seats. Number one. Number two, Congress has a Herculean task to go past 200 seats. Herculean task. Why? Because even during the great time also, during the good time also, they have not been able to do that. And post Rajiv Gandhi, I think they never got a majority on their own to form the government. Let's come to the very vexing issue, and more HNI investors are asking me question about क्या होगा capital gain का. Somewhere that issue seems to be bothering. So what we did, we got some data on what is happening on the long-term capital gain in the various parts of the world. So we looked at Europe, there's a one block. Africa, we looked at South Africa because it's a part of the BRICS. We look at the Asia, okay, and then we look at the North America, then South America and Oceania. If you look at long-term capital gain, India is in par with the UK. all other places capital gain is higher than what it's there in the India. In fact, some of the countries like Canada and Australia, the 50% of your capital gain is free, but the balance 50% is computed based on your personal income tax. So for example, person like me who is in 35-36% income tax, I would be have to pay that much capital gain tax. So it will get computed as a part of my income. There are very few places, well, in India we have short term also, which is 15%. But in many countries, the short term capital gain has been taxed at your personal income tax. Okay, whatever your tax is there, it will get taxed at that level. So if you are in 10%, it's 10%. If you are 20%, 20%. If you are 30%, 30%. If you are the more than 5 crore, then there's a different surcharge and so on and so forth. You will get taxed at that. Our sense is that whatever we are making a sense, India is the lowest. In fact, we were at zero once, but not so in a distant past. It increased to 10%. What could happen? And these are all probability we are talking about. There is nothing called sure shot. अभी तो election खत्म नहीं हुआ है. उसका नया finance minister आएगा, उसका budget आएगा. So we are still couple of months away from the budget to being presented. What can happen in the budget is one, the short-term capital gain tax may move as per your personal income tax rate. And second, long-term capital gain tax may increase. But STT can go away. That's the way I think the things may play out. So don't expect any relief on the long-term capital gain or short-term. वो कम नहीं होने वाला है, हो सकता तो increase ही होगा. So that's what our reading is about. This is the data that in front of you, which may happen, may not happen. There may not be change at all, depending upon how the government wants to take this forward. But somewhere, if you read the message coming out from the finance ministry, clearly says that there is a need to tweak the long-term capital gain tax. That debate was there last year also in the budget time for the very simple reason, because equity attracts a different kind of a long-term capital gain. Other assets have a different kind of. So for example, if you buy property, it's a 3 years with the cost of indexation, long-term capital gain. In equity, it's 1 year. So I think somewhere that the debate is on, should we treat different capital assets a different kind of a scenario. So I think government is in the process of simplifying things, and they may do something on that front. Where are the investors coming? ये लोग कहाँ से आ रहे हैं? Investors. And when you look at the data, we surprise ourselves also. Can you imagine the North India? The highest number of investors are now from North India, neither from West India, which consists of Maharashtra and Gujarat. बोलते थे गुजरात और महाराष्ट्र में बहुत, बम्बई महाराष्ट्र गुजरात में बहुत सारे investors हैं. But if you look at 3.24 crore investors are from North India, and while Western India is only 2.86. If I go back to FY 2016, of course I have data for it, but I did not want to confuse. There were more number of investors from the West India than the North India. In fact, and if you look at it, the East India is also growing very smartly. So highest CAGR in last 6-7 years is coming from the North India, followed by in CAGR, followed by East India, then the West India and the South India. The South India growth has been one of the lowest. One good thing is that each and every region now boasts of at least 1 crore investors, which was not the case with any of the region in 2016. In other words, the number of investors are increasing all across the country, but the more numbers, and in fact, if you look at the Uttar Pradesh, basically, the number of new investors coming in highest from the Uttar Pradesh. Now coming to the very interesting decoding the activities of institutional and retail investors. So what are we going to discuss about who is buying and who is selling in last 2 years? कौन ले रहा है? अगर कोई ले रहा है तो कोई बेचता होगा, am I right? तो बेच कौन रहा है फिर? So, and when I look at the data, I was surprised that market is not run by institutional investors. Am I right? Market is not run by the institutional investors because institutional investors, आप देखोगे, this is the data, total buy value for FY 2000 and FY 2023. So buy is equal to sell because someone is buying, someone is selling. Am I right? सबसे ज़्यादा कौन है उस पकेट में? 71 lakh crore individual, that is retail investors, followed by the prop desk, which is 56 lakh crore. Prop desk मतलब खुद अपने ब्रोकर है या कोई एचएन इन्वेस्टर खुद कर रहा है, वो है. In fact, if you look at FII and DI combined, they are less than the prop book. Forget about the individual investors. Why? Because दोनों का combine करूंगा तो 51 lakh crore आएगा. Prop desk इसके लिए 56 lakh crore and individually 71 lakh crore, which clearly says that 60% of the total what we call the business is coming from the individual investors in the prop desk. So this is what is happening on this one. I mean, there is another interesting thing. Prop desk is selling those 2 years in a row. उन्होंने 2023 में भी बेचा, उन्होंने 2024 में भी बेचा. FIS 2023 में भी बेचा, 2024 में भी बेचा. लिया किसने? आप और मैंने और DII ने, डोमेस्टिक इंस्टीट्यूशनल इन्वेस्टर्स, दैट मीन्स म्यूचुअल फंड एंड दिस वन. उन्होंने बहुत प्रेम से लास्ट 2024 साल में FY 2000 में एवरी अदर कैटेगरी सोल्ड. द नेट बायर्स हैज बीन you and me, like retail investors and the DII, and that's what has happened to this one. So this is a very interesting data that we are talking about. The market has been behaving in a very, very different. We all think that market is run by the institutional investors, but that is not the case. Let's look at the ownership now. And when we look at the ownership, there is you can see the promoter's stake is coming down. Government stake increased from 5.7 to 10.2 purely because of the stake increase because of the price hike that has happened in the PSU shares, and that's really what we call increase to what we call that increase to what we call increased stake in the ownership of the government. FIIs have come down 19.7 to 18.2, and if you look at the banking and this BFSI, that's the mutual fund, so on and so forth, they stake increase from 4.4 to 5.6. Retail investors almost same as what it was there previously, and others have come down from 8% to 6.5%. Sorry, the BFI is not, I stand corrected. This is mutual fund is 7.4 to 8.8, but BFI is nothing but the NBFCs and this insurance and so on and so forth. Their stake is increased. My sense is that mutual fund stake will keep going up, BFSI stake will keep going up, and retail investors, because of their coming in more and more, their stake will further keep going up. What sectors made up of the Nifty 50? If you look at it, the oil and gas in 2004 was the highest, 27.4. Today it has come down to 12, and a lot of credit should go to the Reliance for this. Same way, banks private was only 4.7, and look at the rise, they've gone to 25.4. Normally, if you remember, in one of my webinars also, I suggested that कि जिस तरह से बैंक का वेटेज इंक्रीज हुआ है इन निफ्टी 50, there is a less scope that this now what we call the weightage can go up, and that's one of the reasons we believe that the private banks may not be able to outperform, and that's exactly what has happened. In December 2008, 23, they were 28.2, which came down to 25.4. 4. What has happened is that top 5 sectors account for 70% of the weight. Am I right? So in other words, if Nifty 50 has to move up, this 5 sector has to move up. If that does not happen, don't expect Nifty 50 to drive the rally. As simple as that. Okay, so make it very clear cut कि कौन सा sector जाएगा, and this is how it is going to work that. Okay. How is the global market perform in the year so far? Are we in the top bracket or we are in the bottom? And we are in the bottom of this. If you look at the Nifty 50 has just gone up by 3.1% YTD. Am I right? And all other, like except South Africa FTSE, which is up by 2.4%, all others are down. Nikkei is, all other are up. I beg your pardon. All other up. Nikkei is up by 16%, Hang Seng 13.7%, MOEX 12.5%, DAX, that is Germany 11.2%, Nasdaq 11.2%, S&P FTSE, even the Shanghai Composite is up by 5% YTD. So somewhere India is not amongst the best performing market. Despite India's market cap is all-time high, we are not among the best performing market in 2024. And it's very likely that we continue to remain so throughout the year. We may not be in the topmost bucket of best performing market in 2024. Just quick updates what happened in the market. Both Sensex and Nifty went up by 2% each. Mid and small cap went up by almost double of what it has happened in large cap, that Sensex and Nifty. Advanced decline ratio was much better this week. Across the rally you can see, we have seen the market, across the market we have seen the rally. India's market cap touched new peak of 410 lakh crore as I speak to you today. 410 lakh crore हुआ है market cap India का. Am I right? And foreign investors, despite we are at all-time high in terms of market cap, FI have sold 13,000 crore in just 1 week. It's a substantial amount that they have sold, and yet market moved up. In other words, FI's impact on Indian market diminishing day by day. With this, let's open the floor for question answer. Over to you. Oh, okay, Mukherjee sir is saying, like Mojo portfolio, even in PMS, can we not put money in important defense, railway, and some OTY stocks which are likely to go up instead of systematic staggered approach in which money is idle with no return? Stop loss can be used to protect downfall. No, to Mukherjee sir, the reason why we have done that, the triple strategy in our PMS, there is a reason why we believe so. Okay, we did that. You are right. Logically, we should put in defense, we should put in railway. But somewhere, if your process is well defined, then you will not take shortcuts. And sometimes, the process may look little cumbersome, may not you may think it's not yielding into a returns. But that's not the way, because do not want to invest in the PMS for 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months. Our objective is to create wealth over a period of minimum 3 years or so. So this is a very well thought out. It's not that we are going to remain out of the market or invest, not fully invest in 4 months only. If we believe that market is not going to correct, or the market has corrected enough, we may prepone also our purchase, and we will fully remain invested. So there is a thought behind that. Your suggestion is good. I agree with you that the why could we not take defense? But because we do believe if the market corrects, it will come across the board. The medium small cap will fall much higher as compared to large cap, and even large cap can fall during the market corrections. And that's the reason we have taken a triple strategy. When we launched triple strategy, we said that our objective is to protect the capital. So in the process, even if you earn little less in the short run, it's fine, because objective is to protect the capital, and that's why we did this exercise. So, but thanks a lot for your suggestion. Alok Srivastava saying, is investing in small bank before the election result is sensible? So Alok sir, whether it's before or before after in a small bank, I think first thing you need to have a clarity of thought whether it is what small bank has to do with the election result. If logically nothing, am I right? What you should do is that whether I want to get into that small bank, irrespective of the result outcome. If answer is yes, please go ahead. If the answer is no, it doesn't matter whether you buy before election or after election. So never take a call on the sector or the company purely because of the result. Result से कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला उस company को. Am I right? So just remember that fact. Reason to get into the company should never be the result election outcome. Reason to get into the company should always be a function of your view on that company, and you are not going to buy for 3 months or 6 months. Election के पहले लिया और बाद में बेच दिया. That's not the way. The story of that small bank which you are referring to, does it have a medium to long term growth prospects? Very good. If yes, please go ahead and don't worry about too much about the election outcome. But if the answer is no, please stay away. My sense is that we are not very, my personal opinion. We are not very gung-ho about the private sector bank. We have been saying that time and again. Public sector bank we do own in our PMS, but we stick to the larger banks rather than the small bank. Kamalpati Singh saying how China factor is going to influence our share market. I don't know, sir. When you say China factor, which factor of China you are referring to? Is it the GDP growth? Is it that FIs want to invest more in China? That's what we are referring to, or what relationship with the China or the border? What are you referring to, sir? I don't know what you are going to say. So if you can specify which factor of China that we are referring to, I'll be able to answer in a much better manner, sir. Vigrod Kumar Chopra. Is there any option to add or remove number of stocks in model portfolio as per my choice? There is a need as I don't want to duplicate the same stock in both personal and model portfolio. Kindly assist, not been able to do that. Sir, आपको करना है तो फिर पर्सनल पोर्टफोलियो में कर लो ना. मॉडल पोर्टफोलियो में क्यों करते हैं? मॉडल पोर्टफोलियो से कंस्ट्रक्ट नंबर ऑफ स्टॉक्स, सेक्टर एक्सपोजर, मार्केट कैप एक्सपोजर. आप नंबर ऑफ स्टॉक कम कर दोगे ना, अक्का इक्वेशन बिगड़ जाएगा. शायद वो मार्केट कैप इक्वेशन बिगड़ जाएगा, शायद आपका सेक्टर एक्सपोजर का वर्टिकल कैप बिगड़ जाएगा, एंड दैट वुड क्रिएट अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम. सो माय एडवाइस वुड बी डोंट डू दैट. If at all you have to duplicate stock, please remove from personal portfolio. But keep follow our model portfolio in disciplined manner, because that's the way it has been constructed, more just constructed in a scientific manner. The moment you try to adjust with that, it will disturb the equation of that model portfolio. Tapan Kumar Datta, a stock losses is Mojo status for 4 trading sessions. After that, the same stocks score change above 70, but the status remain non-stock Mojo. What is the reason, Sunil sir? So it's a very simple. To become a Mojo stock, it has to satisfy certain criteria. One of the criteria score should be above 70, but that's not the only criteria. It has to be in the top of that different market cap. In that rank, it has to be the number one. Number two, there are other parameters that is satisfied. Then only it can become a Mojo stock again. Not necessarily it will become a Mojo stock the moment its score goes above 70. वैसे नहीं होता है. And in fact, I've explained this, Tapan sir, many times in my webinar also. The essential condition to become a Mojo stock is to score to be above 70. But that's not the only condition to become a Mojo stock. Vinith Khera sir said, what are your views on algo trading? And do we any data that shows how many people lose money using algo trading? Sir, I must tell you one thing. Whether it's an algo trading or there is a normal trading, please stay away. Someone told me very nice thing. If you want to become a lakpati, start trading because you are a करोड़पति. वो करोड़पति को लखपति बना देगा एंड लखपति को भिखारीपति बना देगा. Please stay away from trading at all. In algo trading, you need to have that kind of a what we call algo trading is more suitable for the institutional investors because the amount of money they can invest into that and amount of risk appetite they can do. And I've seen many global reputed institutions going down the drain by doing the algo trading. And how many people lose money using algo trading? I don't have a data with me, but my sense would be 9 out of 10. और एक भी कितना पैसा पता नहीं. So advice first thing trading ही करना मत कर दो. I don't do a single rupee trading in my life. Single rupee. And that's what my advice would be. Please stay away. Don't do anything trading. पैसा इन्वेस्टमेंट अच्छा बनता है, बढ़िया बनता है. हमारा तकलीफ क्या है? एवरीवन वांट्स टू बिकम ए मल्टी मिलियनर इन नो टाइम. सर वो गलत है ना. यू हैव टू गिव टाइम. इन अवर पीएमएस ऑल्सो सम इन्वेस्टर्स यार 6 महीने में पैसा नहीं बना. भाई 6 महीने में पैसा नहीं बनने वाला था और बन भी जाता, फायदा क्या उसका? वी आर हियर फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म वेल्थ क्रिएशन. And yesterday, I was making a statement with my one of our PMS customer. The power of compounding, everyone focus on the power of compounding on R. That's a rate of return. No one focuses on N. That's a number of years. The longer the period you apply for the power of compounding, the beauty that comes in. That's where you make tons of money. हमारा फोकस ही गलत है. जिस पे फोकस नहीं करना उस पे फोकस करते हैं, जिस पे नहीं करना उस पे फोकस करते हैं. वेयर विल यू मेक द मनी? नहीं बनेगा. विनीत सर आपका, मैं बोलता हूँ प्लीज़ उसको स्टे अवे करिए. एक तो आपका मेंटल पीस ले लेगा वो ट्रेडिंग, दूसरा आपका पैसा. तो दोनों बोलते हैं ना, हमारे गुजरात में कहा बावाना बेहू वगैरह. लाइक यू विल लूज बोथ द थिंग्स. यू विल लूज योर पीस ऑफ माइंड ऑल्सो एंड यू लूज योर कैपिटल ऑल्सो. आई हैव सीन पीपल हैव बीन फोर्स्ड टू गेट आउट ऑफ देयर हाउस और दे सेल देयर हाउस because they did the trading. When I was doing my CA, I distinctly recollect one couple used to come in library. I used to study in Bhavan's library at Chowpatty in South Bombay. And that library was open for, it was a paid library. It is called, even though it's a Bhavan's, it's nothing to do with the Bhavan's college, which was next door. It was a private library. And the CA students would come for study, engineering students would come from study, and so forth. Some doctors would come for study and so on and so forth. And one couple used to be there. And when I was doing my CA, this couple I know that used to do trading. And then one day I came to know that husband did a suicide because of he lost big time money in trading. And hence I am not trying to scare you. I am not trying to say that something should happen to you, but I'm only saying the pitfalls of trading are many, many. Please stay away. Unless you have a strong compulsion, then it's a different story. But it's an addiction, and I would sincerely urge you. मैं बोलता हूँ किसी को अपना खुन्नस निकालना है लाइफ में किसके साथ, उसको स्टॉक मार्केट ट्रेडिंग सिखा दो बस. उस लाइन में चले जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा. इनफैक्ट आई वाज सेइंग अदर डेज विद समवन, अगर इफ़ यू रियली वांट टू बी, किस पे आपको खुन्नस निकालने के बहुत प्यार से निकालना है ना, तो वेरी सिंपल थिंग यू शुड डू. उस आदमी को कार्ड दे दीजिए, कार्ड यू गिव हिम and tell him that you every day you will come from Borivali to Nariman Point. I am giving you the car. So you did a favor to him by providing a car. But you did not do a favor. उसकी life hell बन गई है. Because every day he has to commute from Borivali to Nariman Point. It will take almost 3 hours, one way, 6 hours. He will fed up and he will do this. That's the way. So trading is a strictly no. Please stay away. It's not a healthy thing to do. अगर आपके पास पैसा बहुत ज़्यादा है, डोनेशन कर लो, चैरिटी कर लो, अपनी फैमिली को बाहर घुमाने लेके जाओ, enjoy your life, but don't do the trading. I'm a Mojo 1 and PMS member. I have 42 stocks in my personal portfolio. Ideally, one should hold less than 20 to 25 stocks. However, an optimization, I do expect that optimizer is to inform me which all stock can be switched or exited. This is not happening in the optimizer at present. Does that optimizer require a relook for improvements? Definitely, I think we need to look at it. Why that's not. So what happens, sir? Raj sir, is that our optimizer will not look at your PMS holding, am I right? Because they are both on a different platform. But if you are saying that I have put my Mojo one, what we call stocks also, I have put my PMS stock also, and yet it's not helping you to optimize, then let me relook at that. मुझे forward कर देना. I'll ask my team to look into this. RJ Vani saying, what is your view on the FMC segment in short term? So I don't know about short term, but I do believe that though someone asked me other day in ET, now I have given my interview and I was asked which is the dark horse for FY 2025, and I said FMCG could be a dark horse. Why? Everyone, if you go through the commentary of FMCG companies, everyone talks about double-digit growth, volume growth in FY 2025. Monsoon is likely to go good. IMD is predicted that monsoon will arrive in Kerala by 31st May. ये महीने ही आ जाएगा. And that means if the monsoon is good, more rural income, better demand for goods and services. So I think that should do well. So I don't know about short term. What is the definition you have defined for short term? But I believe that in FY 2025, FMCG should do reasonably well as a sector. Mahesh sir is saying, my question is that really in precious metal, gold and silver is fundamental, and whether it would go on higher side or should book profit, and sir, give your opinion on the private sector bank. Thanks. So Mahesh sir, if you remember, when I presented my equity outlook 2024, I did say that we should expect double-digit returns from gold and silver. And that webinar is available on our YouTube channel. You can look at it and you will get an idea. It's a fundamental really? Answer is yes. Should we expect more? Yes, it can further move up. But you should never buy gold and silver purely because of your view on the gold and silver is positive or negative. Am I right? We always say it's a good, as a part of assets allocation, you should have 10 to 15% as a good gold and silver. That's the way you should pick. It's more of an asset allocation strategy than anything else. Should you book profit? Answer is no. Private sector banks, we believe it can underperform. And we all know that SBI yesterday hiked the rate of interest on the deposits. What does this mean? They have not announced hike in the lending, which clearly suggests that NIM would come under pressure not only for SBI, for every other bank. Because you need to be competitive, otherwise no one will come and give you the deposits. So our sense is that the NIM will come under pressure. NPA, especially on the unsecured loans, can go up, and that could be the reason. Then see, if you see 2023, Bank Nifty underperformed. 2024, Bank Nifty is underperforming, and there is a high probability that it may continue to underperform even rest of the year. Jay Vardhan say FIS selling aggressively indicates what? DI and FIS selling, individuals buying. What does this indicate? I believe they have good research teams, so they are individual taking the wrong call. So FIS selling aggressively indicate what? See, remember, FIS are very opportunistic. They are basically looking at the various markets across the world, and they see where do we need to increase our allocation, where do we need to decrease our allocation. What they are fundamentally right now doing is they are basically locking in the profits. That's basically what they are doing. And I don't think DIs are selling. In fact, on the contrary, DIs are buying. If you look at again this my data here, if you look at it, DIs are buying. They are not selling. DIs are buying. Can you just show the screen again? If you look at DIs are buying 1.57 lakh crore, 2.4 lakh crore. So they are buying actually. They are not selling actually. Now, FIs, and what I've realized of late, the cumulative wisdom of FIs seems to be going haywire. They are selling what retail investors used to do. FIs are doing exactly the same. They are buying high, selling low. And that we have observed very clearly in 2023. If you go back 2023 data in the month of Jan, Feb and March, okay, and if you look at it, where did this sold the shares, एक मिनट, इसको बंद कर देना, मेरे को दिखा देना. Hello? Yeah. So if you look at it, let me share the data with you so that, and I'm saying so in January when the market was really bad, am I right? And what they did actually, they basically sold very heavily. So, reason I said because I have to search for it, so that's the reason I said just go band kar do, and I'll calendar year 2023. Can you show the data now again? Can you show the screen? Oh, it's not coming, huh? मेरा स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा है क्या? Okay, sorry. Then बंद कर दो, ये स्क्रीन निकाल दो. Okay. So just to give you data, in January 2023, they sold 28,852 crore. They sold 5,294 crore. Okay, and when did they come back? They bought 43,000 crore in June. We all know that market formed bottom in Feb 2020, and that time they were selling. Market started rising and they bought it. Again in the month of September and October, they sold near about 14,000, 24,000, 2023. We all know market basically at that point of went down and started going up. They got out at the wrong time. So FIs, so I think even though they were good research, I think that money that coming and going in is not the research money, it's not long only money, it's coming more of an ETF money. So they are behaving exactly like retail investors. However, retail investors become more smarter. They understand that India's long-term story is very, very strong, very secular, and hence, don't get panic. Market नीचे गिरता है और ले लो. I'll be very honest with you, in our PMS, many investors are saying, sir, we will want to invest more and more. जैसे market नीचे गिरे आप हमें phone कर लेना, हम ज़्यादा पैसा डाल देंगे. And that's what I see. So I think that's where, because they believe that India is a growth secular story, FIs are wrong actually in many ways. And of course now because they realize also their impact is hardly anything on the market sentiment. So we should not spend too much time whether the research is good or not. They are actually a pathetic investor. I must tell you that also now. I don't know how many. In fact, I happened to meet someone yesterday only, a very renowned the foreign investor, was managing billions of dollars of a foreign assets, and he told me very interesting that number of active fund managers across the world, their underperformance is very significant, and if they keep doing this kind of an error, the underperformance will keep increasing only. There is no way they can basically do that. I think India is a very secular story. We are going to make very, very good money in next 3 to 4 years. And this same FIs who are selling, jot down my words. They are the first one to come back again. So वो बेचते हैं नीचे में और लेते हैं ऊपर में. Umakant Sawant, excellent presentation by you. Congratulations to you and your team. The topics covered are eye-opening. The strength of data-driven approach is clearly your plus point. Could doing such presentation for the investor, is it possible to share the PPT with PMS clients? Umakant Sawant, Sawant sir, हमारा वेबिनार जो है वो अवेलेबल है यूट्यूब पे. आप उसको देख लीजिए तो आपको डेटा मिल जाएगा. We normally don't share our PPT with, we do only with our PMS customer or PMS webinar, which you must be getting every Thursday whenever I do presentation. Otherwise, this present time we don't do it. And so we also need input from you people. What kind of data you want us to present? Because ultimately it should not be one-way street, am I right? So please give your suggestion. Some of the people suggested, that's why I brought this data here. So please give your suggestion, valuable suggestion. We will try to gather that data information so that our interaction become more productive and it becomes a two-way street instead of one-way street. So thanks a lot, sir, for your compliment. I'm afraid we will not be able to share this paper with the clients for the very simple reason it's a copyright, another issue which comes in. But presentation is available through the link in YouTube. If you need any data, you watch that link and you will get the data on that. And then you can take a screenshot also. If you wish to take a screenshot, you can do the screenshot so you can keep the data for your future reference also. Asfaq Sheikh is saying, which sectors are good to invest? We believe we own prop book. So they buy and sell in the name of Zerodha because that's their money, am I right? And that is called prop book. It's a proprietary book basically. That could be the short term of the prop book is nothing but the HNI or the broker own book. They are buying and selling in their own name, and that's called the prop book. So if you are a broker and if you buy and sell on your own account, that's called the prop book. As simple as that. So Zerodha does, Motilal Oswal has his own prop book, and most of the leading brokers do have their own prop book. When they buy and sell, they do buy on their sell on the behalf of the clients also, but they own buy and sell on their own book also, and that is called the prop book. Sudhakar sir is saying FI selling may continue throughout the effort. After that also our market still may still be overvalued. So if you remember, I did mention that we don't have a history of data which says that 2 years in a row FI have put in solid inflows. Normally if a 1 year the inflow is strong, the next year it is little subdued. And something similar should expect in FY 2025, and that's what I've stated in my media interaction also, which is all available in the public domain. Markets will still be overvalued. We do believe that that overvaluation which is there because of we are not so right now short-term bullish on the market. We do believe that it should correct, and once it gets correct, I think we should again come back to the reasonable valuations. So we don't expect that by the time March 2025. Indian market would still be overvalued. We don't think so. Durgesh sir is saying, good evening. FIs are pulling out money each day, and yet many stocks which have given flat or slightly positive are running full steam, going up to 8 to 10%. More so PSU. Is this really in these stocks driven by few interested operators till election? Yours view on that, sir. So it's very difficult to say it's an operator or not. That's why we keep saying investors one thing very simple. Look at the quality of the company. If you remember in our equity outlook 2024, we said don't focus on momentum in this year. Focus on the quality. And if that is there, assume that market has to correct. The quality stocks may also correct, but they will be the first one to bounce back. So they will fall less. And there will be the buy. And see, we all are victims of herd mentality in the sense of recency bias. What has done very well in the recent past, we want to chase those stocks in the assumption that stock will also do well going forward. So our sense is that, see, normally, not so great numbers should not result into 8 to 10% gain in that the appreciation. But, when the momentums are at play, people do get carried away. And, the tendency of the retail investor is that जो अच्छा किया उसको और chase करते हैं, and that what is expensive will become more expensive, and what was more expensive will be further more expensive, kind of a stuff, because the liquidity and the craziness basically drive that counters. So what we have done in our PMS, I must tell you that somewhere in February we moved away from our medium small cap exposure, which was 90%, to large cap, purely because we wanted to protect the capital of our investors. पैसा कम बनेगा तो चलेगा, पैसा गंवाना नहीं था हमें. And that really helped us when the market did turn volatile. We did a reasonably good job. So if you look at our performance for 2024 or FY 2025, we did extremely well in terms of that. So even though since inception we are a little bit underperforming, both soul and power, but if you look at 2024 and FY 2025, we did a fairly good job purely because we do believe that we don't want to chase momentum at any cost. So I agree with you, sir. You have to be a little more careful. Don't get carried away by the recency bias. Don't get carried away by herd mentality. Apply, look at whether there is just enough stimulus left or not. If not, sometimes it's better to stay away. Better not to get in a company. The script may go up. Don't repent, because ultimately what matters is the stock quality that you bought in, and if the quality is good, eventually it will reflect in your portfolio value. Can we expect market correction after results? Sir, I have stated also, and you would have seen my view getting published in BT also, Business Today also, I said that if there is no meaningful correction before result, then we should expect after result. That's what so it's all depending upon how market behaves run up to the election, and because of growth in earnings, because of reforms, because of liquidity and so on and so forth. I think we should be able to see. Remember, India's balance sheet is not leveraged, unlike in 2008. And that's another reason we are gung-ho about the Indian equity market. In the interest of the time, can we take last two questions if you don't mind? Yeah. Bala Sundaram sir, major indices around the world as chart showed, India is one of the lowest YTD returns. If you look at the markets better than India, how does the GDP versus market ratio compare with ours? Is there any reason that India is not picking up from a returns perspective? So sir, in my presentation also I did mention that India is not among the best performing market in 2024. And how does the GDP versus market ratio compare with ours? I think, some of the countries market to GDP is less than us. Some of the countries, I did make a presentation about which are the countries which are above India's market cap to GDP, and like US is much higher, Japan is much higher, and so on and so forth. I think India can sustain above 100 market cap GDP reset for the very similar, because we are the fastest growing economy. And if they are fastest growing economy, we should command the way the growth companies command higher price to earning, the same way the country which is growing fastest should command higher market cap to GDP ratio. So in that sense, we should not be. If you look at the price to earning ratio of India as compared to other emerging markets, we would look very costly. But India always commanding that kind of a premium over the other emerging markets. So in that sense, we should not be look at it. So we do believe 2024 will not make good money. And that's what we are seeing now. We started in January 2024 also. If you go back our presentation, we did mention that. So we don't expect, because we did make good money in 2023. 2024 would be little muted returns. But the 2024 is going to make a nice base for 2025 and 2026 rally. So that's where you should look at it. So don't look at too much short term. You expand your time horizon and you will see the picture looks very beautiful. Okay, so that's it for the day. Monday is a holiday, bank holiday, market holiday. So I'll not be in front of, none of us will be in front of you. But again, we'll be back in front of you from Tuesday. So have a great time. Those who are from Bombay or those who elect the election, please go and vote. Please exercise your franchise. Whichever party, whichever candidate you like, please go. But please do vote. That's what my humble request to all of you. With this, enjoy a great weekend. I know it's an extended weekend. Those who are with the market, because tomorrow market is open, but hardly any time. Am I right? It's more of a trying to trace the recovery server. So, but otherwise, enjoy your great weekend. Spend some good quality time with the family. Stay safe, because I know that heat waves are there. Please stay safe and take care of your health. Good night. Take care.